my name is Kruger. I'm a motion graphics designer at Wetpaint Advertising.
My name is Einstein Monita, and I am the Chief Creative Officer at Wetpaint. I was born into it, man. Like, I just knew from an early age that I had to do something that didn't involve suits, wearing a suit, and obviously creating ideas.
Yeah, for me, I've always been creative, so I think an agency is like the perfect place to work on a bunch of different clients, a bunch of different mediums. And I think as a motion graphics designer, you get to work with like so many different facets of design. And that's something that I've always wanted to do.
Okay, so I think sync licensing is short for, what a mouthful. Sync licensing is short for synchronization, music synchronization deals. And basically it's when you get rights or permissions to use a body of work that has been composed by somebody else. In this case, it'll be a musician or an artist or a composer. Yeah. There's two scenarios. Basically, if a client's come to us with a pitch, they want to launch something, they want to revive something, then we basically brainstorm and see what ideas we have. And then once we come up with an idea, we see which song or soundtrack matches that idea best. So once we've outlined what that is, that's when we start the process to actually outsource or find someone who can actually help us with the deal. If you're creating something really original, I think you want to look for a composer so that everything that is on that campaign is actually original. But if there's a song that's lending itself to the campaign that already exists, then we would look for a publisher who would then give us the rights. I can just give you a hypothetical situation. Let's say maybe we want to use Michael Jackson, I'm Bad, right? Would basically have to find out who the publisher is or who owns those rights, right? Is it an independent publisher or is it a global company? And then our production specialist contacts them. Then what they will do is send us like a sync deal permissions form, right? And then it comes through with all sorts of questions like, what are you using the song for? Which part of the song do you want to use? Are you doing a cover for the song or you're using the original, the duration, what platforms? And then we basically fill it all out and then we send it back to them and then they vet us. So some publishers don't want their songs associated with certain brands, so they can either say no or they can say yes once they've vetted us, and then after that it's plain sailing. We just have to pay them. Yeah.
Obviously, we work with a lot of different clients. So as Stein said, it kind of depends on the situation, but I think mostly it's based on the target market, so the demographic, age, cultural background, stuff like that. Then also, like some people really want their ads to be exciting and, like visually bold and stuff, while others prefer them to be a bit more like chilled and laid back, stuff like that. So it really just depends on what the client wants, what their target market needs to look like, and just go from there.
You have to think of what is your objective, what's the end objective of whatever the campaign you're doing or whatever production you're doing. So let's put it in this situation. If you're trying to do something that's emotive, right, pulls at heartstrings, you're not going to have an Amapiano song on it. You know what I mean? You're going to have something that's more lovey-dovey. Neither you're going to have rock and roll on it either. So it just like what Monet said, it depends on the target market and how the target market is going to receive that. So if we know we want talking maybe to older people, we'll find something that like appeals to their genre, and then we know that the music itself is also working in tandem with the production. It's called a lookalike production, yeah. So basically, a lot of people do it in the industry. You listen and then obviously you just have to change certain parts of the song. Obviously not infringe on the copyright elements of the song, like the melodies or the tracks, but we have done that. That's the publisher.
Okay.
Yeah. It's either the publisher, the rights owner, or the artist if they own their masters. Right, but it's not up to us. Since it's all above board, if it's ethical, then they have to definitely pay the royalties out to the artist. Not knowing what percentage deals they negotiated on their own side. But as long as we go above board and we go through the right channels, they will get paid.
I think a lot of times clients want something that's very wow, like in your face, but oftentimes their budgets doesn't really give them leeway for these massive songs that they want to use. So I think in that case we just get something that's, like Stein said, that kind of matches the vibe of what they want, and then we'd probably use like our audio libraries. Something that has a lot of different like styles, so we can kind of match it to what they want, and then something that's kind of similar to, let's say, if they want like a big famous song but can't afford it, we just match it to that. Yeah, it's more often than we'd like to admit.
Yeah, all the time.
As soon as they kind of see the costs involved, I think that pretty much swings their heads.
Reality check.
Yeah, so
It's always easier. Sorry to cut you. It's always easier to get the costs first, like CE, and then we present that to client, and then they know what to expect from that point in time, right? And then you can see they'll make the budget if they really want the song. But if there's a set budget, then we work on the set budget and then produce what needs to be produced. We haven't really worked with artists, so like more musicians, composers, so guys who can remake what we need to be made. So if, let's say I want a specific drum pattern, then I can say, hey, I want this thing to be like sound like this, and those are really some of the guys we've worked with, and composers and producers, because if you got a sync deal, you don't really need to be there as an artist because we're just going to use your music the way it is. But working with artists, it's really good because you can actually get them to make the track the way you want it, and tailor make it to the ad. Take out some strings when you need to take out some strings, put in some bass when you need to put in the bass. So it's always good to see how they think and how like you can just say something that might not be in words. I want the drum to be like ding ding ding, and he knows exactly what you mean by that. You know what I mean? And then they can reproduce that, and it's good to see that come to life. We did one for it's a foundation called PPS, right? Sorry, the foundation is part of the PPS group. It's called the PPS Foundation. We did something for the youth. Basically, it was multicultural video where the youth were expressing how they need sorry, the words are leaving me, but they need more support from the private sector so that their dreams can get realized. And we basically used like a pianist, right? And that pianist basically was working on their emotions and their inflections when they were actually giving the speech. So it looks like they're giving the speech to an auditorium full of people. So they start off low and then they get up a bit high, and the pianist kept on matching their emotions. And then obviously at the end, when it gets to its crescendo, the pianist also does a dramatic end. I think that was one of the best ones I can give an example for. Yeah, it was pretty emotive, yeah.
I think people are relying more and more on AI these days. That's especially prevalent like with music, I think, because I mean the development in like the AI space in the last year or two, it's been insane. Yeah, so I think people are trying to cut their costs, especially with music, and I think that makes us use audio libraries more than, let's say, like an artist. So I think, especially like on the AI space, people are trying to make things themselves. I think the AI is probably the biggest trend in audio and video at the moment.
We embrace technology. We're a future forward thinking agency, so we're already on that AI tip. It is going to impact a lot of jobs. That's the truth. Like he said, at some point in time, you won't even need like someone to do a voiceover artist. To be a voiceover artist, you won't even need someone to actually sing a song, because you can just literally tell AI, yo, make this beat, then say these lyrics, and Bob's your uncle. So we're definitely on top of that, and most probably be one of the agencies that are providing those services.
Like Steiner said, we've been playing around with a lot of these like AI tools. So we're currently experimenting with doing voiceovers and stuff using AI, and that especially saves us a lot of time. And I'm sure in the future we'll do music as well. So I mean, it saves you time from someone actually having to record a voiceover or a song, and clean that audio up, edit onto whatever you're editing with, and then then only sending to the client. So I think at the moment, us using stuff like that saves us probably a day or two, which in this industry is a lot of time.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine,
yeah, I mean, you kind of like pre-record someone's voice, and then you can basically do with it what you want. It saves you a lot of time.
I think with the voiceover artists, what they can do to avoid becoming redundant is become part of the banks, the sound banks. So it'll be more of a situation where you register your voice, you make sure that it's available, and then the AI can use your voice, and most probably will be sync deals for voiceover artists in the future. So yeah,
crazy times.
Own your masters, or you're not gonna get paid. That's the most important thing for an artist. If you don't own your masters, or you don't have legit credits, then you're not gonna get paid. Whoever's the rights owner is the person who's gonna get paid, and they're gonna determine how or what the split is, if there's even gonna be a split. So own your masters, read your contracts. And negotiate the best deal. As a young creative.
Yeah, and I've joined the industry. Well, I'd say just be prepared to, grind, work hard. A lot of people these days just want things to fall into their laps. But I mean, you have to grind for it. Like, I've been in this industry for about 8 months now, and it's been like the best and the worst time of my life. Like, I've learned so much, and I think it's worth it for any young designer, because I mean, I've picked up skills and stuff here that I'll keep with me for the rest of my life. But also, like, I haven't slept, like, my sleep pattern has been like kind of screwed up for a while. But I mean, I think if one day I get to the level that Stein is now and reflect back, I'll be happy to have, put in the hours and taught myself what I have. And yeah, I think for young designers, all I can say is just be prepared to work hard.
Hi, my name is Einstein.
And I'm Monet.
And you've been watching Mokima Kona.